Well, g'day there traders and friends, market participants and enthusiasts right around the world. Thanks a lot for joining me in this very brief weekend market update. The reason for this video really is due to the current Bollinger Band squeeze taking place on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. If you take a look at my screen, you can see these two outer bands constricting price. We've got the upper Bollinger Band and the lower Bollinger Band. What is most important at this particular point to understand and to pinpoint is obviously that volatility has been somewhat suppressed over a period of about a month now. As you can see, the trading activity has taken place more or less within these two ranges, which I am drawing on my screen in red. You can see the upper range and the lower range. Right now, the Bollinger Bands are as tight as they have been in recent time. What this is telling us is that obviously volatility is starting to bubble. It's starting to boil. It's like a pressure cooker, and sooner rather than later we are going to see an explosive move in either of these two directions. You can see on my screen I've got two pinpoints, two triggers that I am personally looking at. On the upside, 2103. First of all, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has to crack above Dow 20,000, and as I have just said, it has been bordering on 4 weeks where we've been toying with, again, that psychological round number, that big 20,000 number, which has been, up until this point, the current juncture, a major roadblock for the bulls to overcome. Or we're going to see the market quickly turn down and start cracking below these two swing point lows over here on these two specific candlesticks and start to see some form of a retracement. That figure, that pinpoint number that I'm looking at coming in is around 19,663. So it is roughly about a 500-point spread between the two triggers. Again, they are placed outside of both of these Bollinger Bands, outside the price action, which we have been struggling to overcome either up or down for, again, about a month right now. But sooner rather than later, perhaps over the next 4 trading sessions, the week upcoming is a shortened trading week, Tuesday through Friday. We are going to see one of these two areas crack. When that happens, we are expecting an explosive move. This is on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It is best to remain neutral. It's best to remain completely neutral at this particular point and just run with it or jump on board when we start to see these upper or lower limits broken. It's going to ring true for the S&P 500 also. It isn't as defined as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That's why at the moment we're paying most attention to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The NASDAQ is starting to give us some hints that potentially it's going to be an upside continuation. We are seeing a little bit of strength flow into Apple. We're retesting those recent swing high points. The same is true for Amazon. We have Netflix, which appears to be breaking out of a bull flag to the upside. Google is retesting those same heights as well as to some of those levels we were looking at back in 2016. So there are some green roots coming through in tech, which is interesting. There was a lot of overhead resistance to overcome, a lot of gap fills which needed to take place. And at the moment, everything appears to be a-okay. We haven't seen any material breakdown structurally. When we look at the market indices, we're still printing higher highs and higher lows. And it's just very interesting to see the continuation and to see just how long this Bollinger Band squeeze has been setting up for, and just to see how tight it has become and the inevitable large breakout one direction or another. It's very important that you understand this, that you can reference this, come back to this video and understand it once it happens, or at least see what happens once we start to push above or below these two green triggers on my screen right now. Really, that's the reason and the purpose for this weekend's analysis video, this brief market overview. Very specific actually. We're not going into any of the nitty gritty, the candlesticks or some of the chart patterns which is setting up, also some of the indicators. But above all else, when you see that Bollinger Band squeeze, it more or less overrides most of the other avenues of technical analysis which we have at our disposal when we start breaking down markets and setting up some pinpoint triggers as to where we would feel comfortable to start accumulating, or at least allocating capital, trading risk. No matter which market you choose to trade, ETF or individual stock, it is all relative and pertinent to whatever chart you're looking at. This is only applicable, however, to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Everyone out there right around the world, have a fantastic weekend. Pay attention to the squeeze. Pay attention to the inevitable breakout. It is most likely going to be explosive, and I cannot sit down definitively and tell you which direction it will be. Time will tell. Price action will reveal all. There's a very high chance it's going to come within the next 2 weeks, if not the next 4 trading sessions. All the best, everyone. This is James signing off on behalf of Pivot Point Trading. Goodbye.